Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning. I hope it's afternoon for everybody listening on a Friday. My name is Perry Paxton Lafferty, and I'm welcoming you to our latest Free Training Friday. If you all have attended before, you know this is a short presentation on different topics. We rotate each Friday, and there will be a recording available of this Free Training Friday after our session is over. You all are in listen-only mode, but questions are appreciated. So there is a little chat mode in your GoToWebinar panel that you can access and type in any questions. And Caitlin will be helping me with that at the end of our little presentation here. Okay, so today's topic is going to be running financial reports in Abacus accounting. All right, and I'm going to try to cover a little bit more than just the financial. We're going to look at a couple of the other modules on our screen here and try to go through a couple of those reports. All right, this recording, as I said, is this presentation is being recorded so that we can refer back to it at a future date. So if everybody's ready, we're going to sit back and hopefully have a little fun here. Okay. Well, as you can see, I have my screen opened up to the Abacus Law Accounting module. And for all of you out there, I see a couple of names I recognize that have been using the billing and accounting program. You know, of course, this covers more than accounting. Of course, we have a billing module that is integrated within the accounting package, as well as a trust module to go along with our accounts payable and our general ledger. This payroll up here is a little misleading because there is not a payroll module that's actually included in the system. We actually guide people through journal entries to set up their payroll. But today we're going to talk all about reports. So by just coming over to the report drop-down menu, you can see that we've got many different topics here. And of course, this is probably the easiest way to get in here to go to any of the report groups. But I want everybody to know that also under each menu drop down, there is a reporting function. Now, these reports are over in the main reports one, so I don't want anybody to get confused that you have to go to two different places. It's just some people access it via the drop down menu for each topic, or we can come over to our reports and see them listed here. All right, after we take a look at a few, we're going to go through report groups so you can see how to set up a group of reports so that you can access them at any time. And you don't have to go hunting around looking for the different reports, because I know that's no fun. You know, you found a report once and then it's all of a sudden, where was that guy? Where was that one my boss really liked? So starting at the top, of course, these are the 1099s and 1096s, all right? Obviously, you really don't need these until the end of December or in the month of January of next year, but maybe just to get a start on these so that you're prepared, you could come in and look at what you've got in here. You can do this multiple times, so it's, you know, if you do it today, you can still do it at the end of the year. But this will give you an idea of who you actually have set up as vendors, so you will be able to get 1099s for them. All right. When we're printing them, of course, the system's going to ask what copies you want, so that's in here as well. And this does print to the form itself. You don't have to get pre-printed forms, okay? Now, of course, I'm sure year-end we're going to have more seminars on webinars on how what we need to do to be prepared for year-end. So look forward to those in the Abacus Law emails, Abacus Law or Abacus Next emails to be able to sign up for those. Okay, so these basically is a print function. You could print these out and see what they look like. You can preview, of course, print and file, print to a file, okay? So you've got those sitting in the background, kind of waiting for when you actually need them. Alrighty, next on our group is the accounts payable reports. And of course, these come from using the AP drop-down menu. So what you're doing in here is going to report into the bottom here, which is the same reports as you saw on the other drop-down. And when we open this up, you can see there's several different ones. Now, I'm not going to go through everyone because I think that might be a little boring to sit through what every single report looks like, but I've come up with a few that I thought we might want to look at. I really like this AP cash requirement report because if you are using the two-step writer, this two-step check writer, okay, and that's under AP, enter and post with this check writer, these two steps, when you enter your payables and post them, they come over and will appear on this cash requirement report. In other words, I've told Abacus that we have some payables that have been entered, and now I've entered them and I posted them. So now I want to get a report that shows me what I'm going to owe when, so I can make sure to pay my bills on time. So if we want to take a quick look at what this looks like, we always have our dates that we want to walk through and see, make sure we put in what we want there. And we have many different parameters, many different, what do we want to include on the reports. I like to go with everything so you get a good look at what's in here. And I'm going to actually do previews so we can look at them together on the screen. All right, so let's see what this one's going to do. Okay, so this is my cash requirement, and basically it's going to give me up here on the top, it lets you know what you asked for. So when you look through, you can make sure you asked for all the right things, and it gives you the information about each payable. And of course, it groups it into the 30, 60, 90 kind of thing, so you can see how old it is. So you will know how much is owed at one time frame. So you can go through, and this is everything that has been posted. So these payables are the ones that have been entered and posted, but obviously we haven't written checks for them yet. So we have that, and going to the third page, you can see we have totals across the bottom, so you know exactly how much is owed in what time frame. And it also throws in there what the balance of your operating account is. Okay, so that was nice and easy. Next on our list is an unpaid invoice for accounts payable. This one's kind of interesting because it will show you here, all right, without all the details, you can see actually what vendors you have and how old the debt is. Okay, and if you've forecasted some payables in here, of course, you will see if they're not yet on the calendar to be paid. All right, so that one's very simple to read. We don't have to do much to understand what that one is. Now, you probably already know that some reports listed here would be available in other places. Abacus tries to put it in the logical places where you might need to access it, not just always in one spot. If you've been working with Abacus for a while, you kind of get the feeling that there's more than one way of doing most things in Abacus, which is very true. And here's another way. You can see your cash disbursement listings right here. I am a very big fan of the cash disbursement detail list. Okay, if you've got to have a favorite in accounting reports, this is one of mine, because when you look at this, you can see not only what the date was, what the check number or online transaction number that Abacus will assign if it's not a check, the amount, the payee, what account was debited, which is always nice, okay, the description of that account, and the debit amount. Now, that's pretty normal, but what I really like is if it is a client incurred expense, you're going to have the client and matter number listed on this report as well. So when people are looking for something in years to come, oh, here I found a check under my desk and it was, I don't know what matter it was for, how can we tell? Well, you would be able to bring up this report, and if you got the check number, you can easily find it, or if you have the date range, you could find it and see actually what matter was charged with this to know what to do. Okay? All right, so that's a little bit that we can use different circumstances after the year is ended to find out things. Let's see. Also here, we have this vendor detail report. And since we started with the 1099s, I wanted to kind of show you this so you can go in and get to the details of the vendors that add up all together to go on that 1099. So here, we're actually going to come in here and I'm going to put in a vendor. Okay, I think I've got to do this. Okay, now go find my vendor. Okay. And I got my vendor in there, and now when I click on print preview, and once again, I'm kind of just going with what Abacus automatically assigns here. But of course, remember, you can print these by other ways. I just, don't want to lose you all. Have a snooze fest here. So I'm trying to do them as quick as possible. This is the vendor detail report for clerk of court, for my vendor clerk. And it's showing me, all right, the date, the invoice number if I put it in, and I can kind of tell maybe I should have done a little more of that, the dollar amount of the invoice, the payment amount, the check number, or again, transaction number, the date of the check versus the date of the invoice, if it might be different, the payee, and the description. So this is good to review when you're doing your 1099s to make sure you've got everything set up just nice and neat. Okay, so that's AP. So let's go back. All right, accounts receivable. Well, that's a good one. Now I'm going to show you where else you can get to this because it makes a little more sense that there are going to be two different report groups sitting over where I'm going to show you. That is basically going to be accounts receivable and productivity. But since they're located in the same place, let's look at them from over here. So here we are under billing. We've got our AR reports here. Okay. And there's a couple different versions of this one. I really like, this one's pretty much the normal one, I guess you could call it. It splits everything between fees and cost. And once again, I'm going to go with everything that Abacus is automatically defaulting. But this one definitely has lots of extras on it. So this one, you should look through to find out if you're looking for something specific. In our preview, you will see, and I'll make this a little bit bigger since it is so tiny. I can't even see that. But basically, this is your normal AR report for billing that has been done, okay, done and posted in our system. It splits it between the fees, hard cost, soft cost, taxes and charges are lumped together, the total due, and then the balance in trust. I like this because if they owe you money and they have money in trust, maybe we should go get that money. All right, so once again, some of these have nice, pretty graphs on the back of them, charts and graphs if you'd like to have those, but you can get totals and things like that so you know exactly what's going on. And of course, at the end of the year, your accountant, your tax accountant, if you're not doing the taxes yourself, will probably like an AR report as well as an AP report so they can do the filing of your tax returns efficiently. Okay, the aging report for AR is kind of cool because once again, it groups things in the 30, 60, 90 date range so you can kind of see with their phone number if we've taken the time to put it in. And this, of course, is drawing from Abacus Law. You can see how old the debt is. Now, it doesn't separate it between fees and costs here. And once again, I should make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. Okay. So it's basically by date this way. And of course, it has the balance in trust. Okay. All righty. Some of these aren't AR reports. It's just this is where they are listed so that you know. And of course, on the other hand of AR would be something like your WIP reports. Okay. So if we go under billing again, and this time down to productivity, they just put them in a little separate spot here. Now remember, these are accessible under the reports menu too, but since they were actually together here on billing, I thought we'd conquer these two at one time. And we've got all kinds of billed and unbilled, okay, hours and fees. So these are good to spot check as you would like. But when we're doing training, I'm always very mindful to try to remember after your billing's done, okay, everything should be on that AR report except for the items you did not bill. So a good way to check yourself is to run a WIP, a work in process. All right, let's do, what do we got here? Let's try the aged and see what we have. Okay, once again, you have different selection choices here. I'm going for everything. After all the work you did, it's kind of nice to come in and see the reports with all the results. So it's something to show that, hey, look at everything I've done in the program, and now you're getting the results for it. Okay. So this pops up, and like I said, work in process, items that are in the system that have not yet been billed. And there's a lot of information for each matter. Things like prior balances, trust balances, if anything's been held in trust for whatever reason. Also on the billing side as far as time and cost as well. And you can see it's linking it in the 30, 60, 90 again range. So you can see hours that are in the system that haven't been billed, fees. It's telling you if this is a contingent case or a flat fee case. So you can get a lot of information from this report. Okay, so that's one version of WIP. Here's another one. Pretty easy to see this as well. Understand after you've gotten everything in here. And this you could run before billing or after posting bills. I like it after so I know what's left. Okay, so we've got everybody listed in here, and it's, you know, once again, it's a little small, but it divvies it out between fees, hard costs, and soft costs. Once again, listing if there's money in trust. Okay, enough of those. You could spend half a day going through those productivity reports, and we only have a few minutes, so let me move over to trust now. And in trust, I'm going to point out two. These are my favorite reports, and if you ever have to do trust bank reconciliations, I definitely recommend you print a trust detail report each month to go with your bank rec, because we know this proves to any auditor that you knew exactly who had how much money in your trust account. So once again, there are a lot of different parameters that you can run. Suppress zero balances is a good one, that if you don't need to see money coming in and going out in the same month, you could suppress, and it makes up your report a lot shorter for storage, right? But like you can see here, trust detail shows everything that's going on in the trust account between your start and end date for each matter, done by matter. So this looks different than the checkbook, of course, but it gives the balance for each matter that does have money in trust. And of course, at the end, we always want this balance to match the checkbook balance, right? And that's the whole idea behind the Abacus program, is it won't let you reconcile if your ledgers or matter activity does not match the checkbook. Now, one that's a little simpler is the summary, and it's just because it is a summary, in other words, one line per matter. So it doesn't take up as much space, but here again, you can see exactly what's going on in totals. And of course, at the end, let's see, I'm hoping mine, yep, sure enough, there we go. We're matching balances, which of course it should always have. Okay, now finally, let's get to the GL, because that's why we, that's what we were saying we're presenting today. So under the general ledger, of course, and once again, you can get to those reports over here. We've done trust, now we're moving into the GL, okay? And we've got our typical accounting reports. Of course, there is a balance sheet, okay, where we know our assets should always equal our liabilities and our capital accounts, okay. We have those cash disbursements listing here again. Here's the good old checkbook register that I'm sure you have seen 1,000 times, okay. Just your checkbook, a quick way to see what's going on in the cash account, your debits and your credits, with a running balance for each transaction. Okay, then here again, we're going to come down here. If I had to pick my big five, I would go with my balance sheet, and then I would take these two GL reports and print them also with my income statement and my trial balance. I call those the big five. In other words, the balance sheet, and then this general journal listing, okay, that shows you every journal entry. Now, this is more for you being able to find something if you need something here. It's every single journal entry that's been done in your system in the date range that you chose. So if anything ever goes off kilter and you're out of balance for some reason, I would definitely print this to make sure all the debits equal all the credits. The next one here, of course, if you have budgets, those are great, but this detail listing is what your tax accountant is going to want at year end, because it shows every transaction in every account in chart of account number order. So we can see that the first account would be the operating account, and then it moves through. If we just check about here, catch up, there we go. Now we're in trust, and you can see it goes through all of the different accounts on your chart of accounts with every entry that's been done in your system. Okay. So that one's nice. That's usually a big, thick report that we put aside there for our year end. And our income statements. Of course, we've got a few of these here. I like month and year to date. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, you could print the other versions as well. All right, so you've got the month for the current month you're actually looking at and the year-to-date totals in the form of an income statement. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right, with a little chart. Of course, we like the yellow. Well, I guess we like the red. Anyway, you can see you've got everything here on the page, and it's all via your chart of accounts. All right, and let's see. I wanted to show you those report groups, but let me come down here and, of course, show you the trial balance. This is, you know, the big report that all the accountants definitely want. From the start of your books, okay, through everything you've done and the closing balances as of the date we're running it. Okay, so here again, we got pages of this, and this is a good one to print and give to the accountant as well. Okay, now to quickly show you, so we save a little time for questions if there are any, how to put reports in a report group. It's really pretty simple. We do access it from the report menu down to report groups. Now, Abacus gives you a few already. You're going to have 3 or 4 of these already in your system. You want to set up your own. We have to add our own group. So I'm going to add Perry's Reports. Okay, now there's my name. Now I highlight my name or my report name, and I come over here and pick from a folder. So this is taking the reports you like and actually putting them together, so when you come in, you can just press a couple of buttons and all your reports can be emailed to anyone or printed out or actually previewed on the screen. So if I open my AP here, I can pick that AP cash requirement report, hit include, and I don't worry about dates right now. I'm just picking my parameters and say save, and it puts it in my little group down here. So that's a report I like. So now I could go to another area here. Let's go to our GL, pick the balance sheet, say include. Okay, no parameters here, just a good old balance sheet, and it puts it in my report group. And you can do this as many times for as many reports. You could actually do the same report with different criteria. So if we were doing productivity, we could pick it for different attorneys, and it would separate them one report from another if we don't want them all on the same report. Okay, and then you have all your reports in here. Then comes the magic day when you want to print them or email them. So how do we do that? We go back to that same place, so reports, report groups. Now we come down to the bottom corner and we say, oh, I'd like these reports to cover this month. And you can preview them, print them, or email them. And it will take whatever report group you have chosen. Now, I didn't really pick my report group, but if I had, I could pick that one and then come down here and say, okay, let's look at those or let's print those, and it would print the reports that I have included for my group. Whew. Okay, well, that was very, very fast. I know these little Free Trading Friday webinars are supposed to be just short and sweet. So, Caitlin, if there are any questions, can you jump on and let me know, and I'll try to answer them?
Hi, yeah, there don't seem to be any questions right now. If anybody has any questions, speak now. All right, well, it looks like there are not any questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope that was as educating for you as it was for me. I know I learned a lot. We will be sending you all a recording and a summary of this webinar later today, so look out for that coming in your inbox.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.